Yeah, that works. Oh, there's people in chat already. I'm running a little late, and I'm still working on getting everything set up. But I'm like, I can at least put it in pre-show mode while I do this. I want to be here. Yeah, here works fine. Do like I did last week. Yeah, that's a little bit of zoom. Nah, too much zoom. Too much zoom. Yeah, that's right. That's perfect. All right. Trying to see if there's like a brightness setting, like if I can up the brightness, like the exposure of the camera. And I don't think there is. Yeah. All right, I think the ad's over. So let me go ahead and just hit the transition button. Woohoo! I figured out transitions. Where's my body? Oh, I know why my body's still twisted. I was like, why is my body twisted? Oh, because I had the menu up over there. Hi, guys. Tim's here. I don't have... Tim, I don't have the weatherman thing because I didn't do any work on CAD at all last week. Yeah, puppy, this is the avatar that I've been working on. I don't know... You weren't here last week when I did a stream with this. And like I said a few minutes ago, or like whatever, I literally, there was traffic and everything, and so I kind of didn't have time to finish getting everything set up. So I was just like, well, I'm just gonna do I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna drink a beer, which I don't even have a beer yet, and I'm gonna talk about the BattleBots 500th show that we had over the weekend. I want to talk about a potential robot idea that I had after I had a weird dream last night. And I want to talk about upcoming face-offs, and then whatever you guys want to talk about. Whatever you guys... The problem is I have the Streamlabs floating in world, and it hides the camera, so I forget exactly where the camera is. So what I got to do is, like, move Streamlabs... Oh, the camera moved over there. Let me move the camera more center. Right there. Yeah, that right there. Now when I point forward, yep, okay, cool. And then I can start flying off. And then I can move this. I'm gonna move it so that way, yeah, right there. But thank you, Puppy, for loving the avatar. I've done a little bit of work on it. This is a pre-made avatar that I did buy. But because I bought it, I have all of the assets for it to modify it to however I like. And one of my big problems I've always had with furry avatars is I don't like the digigrade legs that all of them have. And this one has an option to turn that off. And I was like, yes! I could turn off digigrade legs. I need to do a bunch of CAD stuff myself still. Need to make some models to 3D print. Yeah, I'm trying to prevent myself from getting burnt out, and between working on robots at work and kind of like helping Jeff where I can, when I can with Jackpot for our upcoming face-off fights, I've just been like, I don't want to touch CAD right now and overexert myself. But then like last night I was in bed and I had this weird dream. That I was driving Whiplash. But like a 12-pound version of Whiplash. Now I know Maddie Vasquez has I think a 12 or no, maybe 30. I think he has a 30-pound version of Whiplash called Mini Lash that he runs. But in my dream I was driving a 12-pound version of it. But what was weird is it had hub motor wheels. I had just taken, like, for whatever reason in the design, I had put like motors where the wheels would be and then just put sleeves over the cans of these brushless motors. And I was like, that's a horrible design. Why would anybody do that? And, it didn't, yeah. But part of what it made me realize, part of this dream, was not necessarily that that's a design choice I need to make. That's not a design choice I'm going to do. But I was driving this robot, and I never once used the flipping action or lifting action on it. And then I thought about the times for BattleBots Destructathon when I have driven Whiplash. How often do I use the lifting mechanism on that Whiplash? Not that often. Half the time it's either broken, or half the time I just don't get an opportunity to use it. And then when I do have the opportunity to use it, I just don't use it. Which made me realize that if I build a 12-pound hammer saw like I would like to do, that might be a problem, because I don't have the experience of running a multiple weapon system. And so I don't know if I would want to spend the $1,200, the $1,000 to $2,000 or more that it's going to cost to build a 12-pound hammer saw if I don't have experience running a hammer saw in the smaller weight classes. So I started thinking about potentially building a plastic ant weight hammer saw. And I was actually going to fire up the CAD and work on that tonight for the stream. And then as I was sitting here eating my tacos, I was like, No, no, I don't. I don't want. I want to, but I don't, because I don't. Again, I don't want to exert over. I don't want to overwork my brain in thinking about robot design stuff. So I decided I'm just gonna be like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm trying to change the shirt on my avatar, and I keep taking my pants off. Luckily, there's a bar in front of me. I can't find the setting for lighting either, so. We are still at Hangar 6 because I was going to go to a different world that has better lighting, but I was like, I don't want to have to, like, I started the stream and then put my headset on and everything and started loading up all the VR stuff, so. It was kind of a, is it going to work if I start the stream and all that after the fact? But yeah, I'm thinking about potentially doing a plastic ant weight hammer saw, similar to what Jeff did with Skibidi Slicer, although I would probably go with a two-wheel design. I know a lot of people who are building hammer saws are going with the fold one. With a more of a four-wheel design because it's more stable and everything, but I want to learn and I want to build a two-wheel design so that way I can have a little bit more weight for my arm and weapon system and my armor package. What I'm thinking of doing is basically a simple box with the arm mechanism. Yeah, it's similar in that I might do multiple different types of weapons. I might do like a thin disc of PLA plus, like what he did, because at high RPMs that will cut through other PLA, it just melts. The problem is, the problem there is, it also melts itself because you're when you're cutting something, you want your cutting surface to be harder than the surface you're cutting, or more abrasive than it. You don't want it to be made out of the same material, or else you don't want it to be made out of the same material, or else they're just going to destroy themselves in equal amount. So Skibidi Slicer, although he did actually have a solid blade on there, I might go with the solid blade design, with the idea being I'm mostly going to be doing control and then dropping that hammer action on people. I have a tentative idea for like a clutch mechanism in my arm, so the arm can come down and then bounce back without damaging the gear drive or the motor for it. And all it's going to be is basically a TPU sleeve. Like the arm itself will have gear teeth. There'll be gear teeth on the output motor, and that will drive another gear on a shaft. And then that shaft, which will be part of that gear, will have a TPU sleeve that the arm is then press fit onto, so it can kind of slide a little bit on that shaft. So during like a big hit, it can ricochet back and not damage the gear system. Which I'm going to have to run that idea by the SCAR people to make sure that it's like, hey, can I use TPU in a mechanical sense like this in this component on the robot? If I can't, then I'll just do a PLA sleeve and have some sort of crimp press fitting so it can still slide. I'll have to figure out some kind of clutch mechanism. But I want to do two-wheel drive similar to Scorpios or Sawblaze. They're current season 8 or season 7 designs. With the idea that, like, doing the big toothed weapon, I can kind of come in and bap on the top of people and do some damage up there. I just don't know what weapon motor I would run. I would probably want to run like a smaller one for weight. But my idea is to basically do like a Scorpio style box, right? With a slightly angled front, and then have a 3-piece armor package that I can put on the front that'll be like my scoops and everything. So the frame can be one separate piece that shouldn't take too much damage during a fight, but then the rest of the body can kind of take a little bit of a beating. I can do this. Like the armor package can take a beating and stuff, and I can have multiple different armor configurations. So if I'm fighting a horizontal, I can have something that's more wedge shaped. If I'm fighting a vert, I can have something that's more scoop shaped. But like, and I was sitting on my motorcycles, I'm like, man, I could totally put this together in CAD. I have all the ideas. I'm thinking of even just taking my current vertical and copying the frame over and just slicing the front of that off, or at least making it like the same dimensions, because I know that that's a good starting point. And I would still use like the N10 motor or N20 motors for drive. I'd also use an N20 motor for the arm mechanism, so it wouldn't be a servo. So I could go all the way down and all the way up, and I might even make it so that way the motor could go all the way down and just almost do a full. I could almost do a full rotation with the arm. It'd be hilarious to design a hammer saw that could actually do a full rotation, but that would mean you'd have to have two sides of the robot and all of your electronics going through a tube that the arm can then rotate around. Huh. Because that'd be hilarious, because it's like, I'm a full body hammer saw at that point. Although you'd have to worry about the electronics in the weapon motor, unless you put the weapon motor on its own separate battery and its own separate electronics. Which I think on a plant weight might be a little overkill. I'm just real quickly like checking some of my group stuff. VRChat has groups that you can join, and one of the things that they do when you join a group is you can set it to represent yourself or represent that group. And so when the people look at your name tag floating above your head, which you guys can't see, it'll show that group. And one of the groups that I've joined is Fusion 360. So I have a Fusion 360 group that I'm part of. What else? Where's my soda? Where's my drink? Where's my drink? I have a soda right now. That's how I find my center, is I just make sure that my this camera is right here, or phone is right here, that's there, and then I can move around my play space a little bit. I have smoothing on that camera, so it's like if I move really fast, I don't stay exactly in center of the screen. Which actually I think is a better, I think having smoothing, having a separate camera floating like that, and having smoothing on is a better option than like direct face. And I know I say that knowing that I have done VR stuff like Elite Dangerous and iRacing and everything where you guys are seeing from my point of view. Which I do think there's a way to enable smoothing, or at least there is if I'm using Oculus Air, if I'm using the Meta AirLink. If I'm using Meta AirLink, I can do an output of the Meta view and then capture that and put smoothing on there, but Meta AirLink sucks, and I use Steam Link, and Steam Link doesn't have a... Maybe it does. Maybe it does. Oh, that's trippy. Oh, let's see, can I... I need to go to my keyboard real quick. I accidentally hit the wrong button. What the hell? I broke it. I broke my computer. There we go. Luckily, you guys can't see that screen. So I guess SteamVR does do a like an output view, but it doesn't have smoothing. It doesn't have built-in smoothing, so I can turn it off and it moves exactly with me. It's like, but that's a little unnerving. But I turn it up to like 10, and it's a nice slow pace, so I can kind of move around and feel more like I'm. I don't know. I don't know how it looks for you guys. I'm still learning. I'm still playing with all this. Yeah, good FPS, good ping, so we're good here. There's a kitten at my feet. My kitten has started doing this thing where whenever I'm playing VR, he did it for a while where he'd be like, "Oh, he's playing VR. I'm gonna just lay on the couch and stay out of the way." But now the little shit likes to lay in the middle of my play space until I step on him. Because he knows if I step on him, I'm going to feel bad and I'm going to want to pet him. And so he gets pets and rubs because he's a dumbass and wants to sit right in the middle of my play space. I did think about taking one of my cameras that I have over there and having it point at my play space so you guys could like see like right there, or even like right there under text, like what I'm actually doing. And then I remembered like a lot of times when I'm playing VR, I'm just playing in like shorts because it's warm in here, and the shorts I have are not stream appropriate. And it's mostly because like they have a massive tear in like the crotch, so like you could just see my boxers through them, and I'm like, yeah, these are my at-home lounging around shorts. I was bringing up another menu over here. So I'm currently sitting at 421 followers with a goal of 430. I don't know why it's managed 430. And I have 3 sub points towards a goal of 10. I have other things, but like I'm not gonna bother with them. I'm just looking at like all the Twitch goals and stuff that you have, or you can as a streamer have access to. My work schedule this week is weird. I work Monday and Friday, or Monday through Friday like normal. Monday and Tuesday I worked until 5 o'clock, which is normal. And then usually Wednesday and Thursday, I work the show, so I'm off work around 8:30. And then Friday is kind of the up and down, like the swing day. Like I might work the show, I might not, which if I don't work the show, I get off work at 5. If I work the show, I get off at 8. But this week, and I got to double check with my boss, I work the show on Wednesday and Friday, but not Thursday, which means I'm leaving at 5 o'clock on Thursday. I'm just like, huh, that's weird. That's not normal. I'm gonna scratch my face. So, Sunday. Last Sunday, we had the 500th show of BattleBots Destructathon, which means we've basically had 24 seasons worth of BattleBots there. Because normally, a TV season, you have a couple hundred fights, right? Out of all the fights, I think it's like 150 fights in total is usually what they have. We have 5 fights a night, 4 to 5 nights a week, 500 shows. You do the math, it works out to like 24 and a half seasons worth of fights. And we've been there for 2.5 years now. I think we're at the halfway point now of our second year. And it was actually a pretty good show. I mean, there was like a couple of things that were kind of lame. Like the Mammoth fight could have been better, but like Mammoth broke right early on. The Hypershock Witch Doctor fight, they weren't hitting as hard as they could have hit. But overall, I think it was a good show. Like lots of positive, like there was lots of good energy in the audience, and it was like I didn't have to work, but I went in and I was like, wait a minute, guys. I don't work today. I'm not on the clock. I can drink a beer. And so I went over to the bar and got a beer. And then I only had one beer, but because I was like, I still have to drive home and I don't want to deal with like, I can have one beer and then go eat food and have a second beer and be fine. So we do the 500th show. I show up, an hour and a half before showtime and end up doing my normal like pre-show. I sit out in the lobby and shoot the shit with guests as they're coming in, which is kind of my normal thing that I do. And then, man, there wasn't like too much. Like, I thought there was gonna be more like, I don't know, pageantry, I guess, or whatever to it. They were gonna do more, and they really didn't. The only thing that special we did was we did a raffle. And when you walked in the door, you got a raffle ticket, and we put the other half in a box. And during the slot machine fight, we took that box and we duct taped it to the front of the slot machine. So when Nightmare hit it, it blew up and sent shrapnel, slot machine, and raffle tickets everywhere. And the raffle tickets all like fluttered down all pretty. And then as Nightmare kept smashing slot machine, it's blowing the raffle tickets around and they're floating through the air. And then when both robots were shut off, Trey went in, he went down on the floor, he picked up one raffle ticket, and he's like, here's the number. If this is your number, you just won this $500 prize. And sure enough, like a person sitting like 2 rows away, I was just standing in the back. I didn't have a seat, but like a person like a couple rows over near the front won, and they're like, yay! And it was cool. I think what was fun though was afterwards, we did go down to one of the other casinos, and we had a pool party. And that was fun. Because it was like free food, free booze, and a pool? Yeah, hell yeah. And what was nice is like I fucked up my knee last weekend at Destruction Under the Stars. And I had been struggling to walk. And I sat in the pool for like a couple hours just swimming around. I sat in the hot tub for like an hour and I was like, oh, my knee doesn't hurt anymore. Like sitting in the water and like the hot tub water and everything is just like, oh, it actually feels nice. And then of course Kyle, who is a cryptid. This is 100% true. I don't care how many times the people who edit the BattleBots wiki say otherwise. This is 100% true. I know this because I work there and I witness this every single day. But Kyle is a cryptid who lives under the battle box and protects us from Riptide. That's what I'm saying. That's 100% true. But every time I put that on the Wikipedia, they try and take it off because they think it's not true. But Riptide hasn't come back. Riptide has not come back yet. But Kyle brought like a big tote of super soakers. And so we're all running around the pool, beer in one hand and super soaker in the other hand. And at one point, like, I'm sitting there, I had a beer in one hand and a hot dog in the other hand, and someone was pointing a super soaker at me, and I was just like, I just want you to know something. I was like, I just want you to know something. I like this beer, and I like this hot dog more than I like you. You get me wet with that super soaker. You get my hot dog wet. You get water on my beer. You're drinking that entire pool. And then someone blasted me, and I was just like, you son of a bitch. But overall, I think it was a good time. It was a good time. That's not the first time we've done like a pool party. At that pool. And so I hope we do more. We need to do more. It was nice. I've honestly missed swimming. Like when I first moved to Vegas, didn't go swimming at all. Because the house I moved into, like, we didn't have a pool, we didn't have access to a pool. Second house I moved into had a pool, so I would go swimming like 2-3 times a week. There were times where I just would, I think there was 1 week where I went swimming every single day. But then, like, every single time I've moved into a new apartment that has had pools. And it's like, I've gone to the pool a couple times, and less, and it's like, I don't go swimming anymore. And it's like, I miss being in the water. I miss going splashy, splash, splash, and sitting at the bottom of the pool because I'm skinny and I can't float. So when I try and float, I just sink to the bottom of the pool, and I just sit down there and go, boop, 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 boop. And the lifeguards all think I'm drowning. But yeah, it was fun. Of course, not next weekend, but the weekend after next, 2 weeks, we have the face-off tournaments, which this isn't sponsored by them, but I'm still going to promote them because my team is in it, and why shouldn't I? But Jackpot, Orbitron, Terratops, and Magnitude will be competing. It's going to be a round-robin tournament. The robot with the best record, the most wins at the end of the weekend, will win a giant washer. Jackpot competed in face-offs last fall. The episode we talked to Greg actually mentioned this during the 500th episode. The episode should come out in 2 weeks, according to Greg, which means we've probably got another 2 months before it actually comes out. Who knows? He actually did text me the other day because he wanted to make sure the spelling of my name was correct. And only afterwards did I realize, after I said yes, it's correct, I'm like, actually, I don't want to go by that name. Can you change this and this? But it's too late. It's already in the edit, so I don't know. But I'm like, wait, he asked for my name and my title on the team. Am I gonna have like did they? I know they interviewed me and I talked a bit about the robot. I don't know if they actually I know that I talked about the robot, but I don't recall them like directly interviewing me. But I've seen a clip with like me and like I'm doing something. I'm in my Jackpot outfit, but I can tell it's either post or pre-fight because I've got a drink, like I've got a soda in my hand. So I'm just like, what did they do? What did they do? What did they do? What was I saying? What was I saying? But one of my plans I want to do, and I'm not going to do it on here, but I'm going to do it in my VR chat groups, is because a lot of the people in the VR chat groups know that I do BattleBots, and they're like, "Oh my god, we want to hang out with you." Is I'm going to do like a viewing party in VR chat with like some of my VR chat friends and like one of my VR chat groups, where we're gonna like sit down and watch that episode. We'll watch like episode 1, 2. which is actually 1 and 2, or part 1 and 2 of episode 1, episode 2, and then episode 3 of the BattleBots Face Off series. And my viewer count just went up. Hello, people who joined. I'm not gonna look at the list of people because okay, but Tim, that actually happened. That actually happened to me, okay? The final edit will be like SpongeBob episode where we just see like Kaz's elbow, and that's the whole edit. So, years ago, I used to play a LARP called Twin Mask. And during one of those games, it was a weekend-long full immersion game, so you show up Friday night, get your camp set up. At Friday night at 8 p.m., they call game on. You're in-game, in-character from 8 p.m. Friday night until 3 in the morning Sunday, right? You're in-game, in-character. Full immersion inside of a Renaissance Fair village, which is actually in the process of being torn down, unfortunately. They lost the contract with the city to keep that running. It was also incredibly unsafe, but I digress. Anywho, one of the last games I played, and this was a couple years ago. I did actually play a game this year, but it was like I went to that game and went, oh man, this is really fun. I can't wait to do it again. And then every subsequent game that they've had, I have not been able to attend because I've been busy with other stuff. Anywho, Jeff Goldblum had a TV series called The World According to Jeff Goldblum. And in each episode, he would find some niche hobby and do a 30-minute, I think the episodes were like 45 minutes long, do like a deep dive into that hobby. So like he did an entire episode about sneakers. And he went to like shoe stores. He went and seen where sneakers were made. He went to like a sneakerhead convention and he learned about that. But he did an entire episode about gaming. And in that gaming episode, he went to like a video game studio and saw people playing video games or like developing video games. He went to a video game convention that also happened to have like some MLG tournament going on. I forget exactly what it was. He went and visited people playing card games, and he also visited a LARP. He visited Twin Mask. He visited Twin Mask the same weekend that I played. So, all my friends are watching this because everyone in Twin Mask was posting about it, including myself. Everyone's watching it, and then every couple of days for like 2-3 weeks after that episode came out, somebody would send me a screenshot of me like in the background. Like Jeff Goldblum is standing there looking all stoic, and I'm over there like swinging my sword around over here like ah! I think there's one part where like I had just gotten smacked in the face and you can't see it, but I was actually bleeding. Like I bit my lip, and I'm like, Hurr! Like my mouth is like gape, and I'm just kind of going, "What's going on, guys?" And Jeff Goldblum's just like la da 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 walking by. But like I got to LARP with Jeff Goldblum, and that was exactly what happened. Is like, there's me. And actually, Tim, that even happens in BattleBots episodes. The last 2 seasons of BattleBots, I'm in the audience, and I'll be like, there's me. I've seen Pong a few times. I don't know if I've seen you, Tim, because I don't know if you ever went to filming, but I've seen Pong. I've seen myself and like my whole household. I've seen the one bald guy from NHRL. I want to say his name. It's not Luke, but I want to say it's Luke. I've seen him in a couple episodes. But no, I have a screenshot from the edit that Greg sent me. I don't necessarily want to show it, mostly because it's on my phone. Actually, maybe I could show it. I'm like, oh, wait, I can do this. I can do this. What window did it open on? And then what I do is I make sure that main is enabled. And then I go to masks. Oh, I know. I see what it's doing. I see what it's doing. I need to spark camera. And then, oh, I see the other problem I'm doing. The other problem I'm doing. I'm dumb. I'm dumb. But yeah, if I step over here, that's the pic. This is the picture Greg sent me. Look, it's got my name, and I'm like, I'm looking at that. I'm looking at that picture, right? And I'm trying to figure out like. I have 3 pings from there. I'm trying to figure out what's going on because like, there's me. There's I always forget his name. I'm like, that's the machine shop. I think this is This is either pre-show? Yeah, because there I've got a monster in my hand, which is a problem. I shouldn't be drinking energy drinks anymore. I'm trying to also like make sure I don't stand where you guys can see, or where I'm blocking you guys' view. I've got a monster there in my hand. I'm looking at something. I know where this is at. This is the welding area. The stage is over, like the arena is over, like this is the bleachers here. So this is like the test box. We might have been doing some pre-fight testing. I think that's what's going on in that photo. I didn't go to filming. I was looking at going, but didn't end up. It was also before I got doing the robot stream stuff with Pong and such, so didn't know as much. What headset am I using? I'm using the Quest 2. But I'm using Steam VR, so I'm connected to my computer through Steam VR, so I can do like all the PC stuff. But yeah, I'm just trying to figure out I don't remember that scene. I don't remember what was going on there. But I'm like, oh, I got a monster. But something I've learned about myself over the last few months, energy drinks don't really wake me up. They instead make me irritable and cranky, and so like I've stopped drinking energy drinks until like I can like either get some of my other emotional garbage handled, and basically like stop being depresso sad boy, I guess. I don't know. Get actual proper amounts of sleep, but they just make me. They don't wake me up. They don't give me energy. They just make me cranky and angry. They make Clueless fast but sleepy. They make me fast but angry at everything, and super irritable. Like, I drank one at work a couple weeks ago, and this is kind of like when I realized I needed to stop drinking. I hadn't been sleeping much. I'm burnt out from work, and something that had been really, really bothering me was people kept putting stuff that wasn't mine in my pit. So I would come in on Monday and there's food trash in my pit. Tools that don't belong there, stuff that doesn't belong there. And I have to spend 5-10 minutes every morning cleaning my pit of other people's garbage. And we use these little radio packs. That we use to hear the show call and to communicate with each other during the show. And I come back to my pit, and they're all, like, pre-show, all laid out all over my pit. I'm like, guys, this isn't where they go. This isn't storage area for them. You all know where they go. You should grab, you go grab your own and put it on. I was like, whatever. They brought them over there so that way they could turn that off. They brought them over and put them on my table set because my table's central. It was easier to distribute them. And I said, I don't like that you guys do that. Please stop doing it. And I've been saying it for a long time, but nobody listened. They kept doing it. Oh, it's so much easier to do this. Like, people would come in and bring, like, everyone would come back from lunch and just start piling food on my table. I'm like, I'm trying to work here. I'm trying to work on a robot. And now there's 5 bags of Chick-fil-A on my fucking table in my way. So it's like, I have to stop working while you guys sort your lunch. There's a lunch table right over there. Like 2 tables over. Use that instead. So then, like, this was a couple weeks ago. I've absolutely had it. I want to go home. I don't want to come back to work. I'm tired. Everyone's filing out. Everything's backed up. And one of my coworkers comes up to me and she takes her little radio pack and she's like, "Can you put this on the table over there?" And I'm like, "That's not where it goes." "Oh, where does it go?" And I'm like, "Fine." I took it and I threw it in the trash. Actually, I took it and I threw it on my table and I was just like, it's like, that's not where it fucking goes. You know where it goes. Put it away. No, what I ended up doing, Tim and Puppy or Clueless, I'll get to what you said in a second. What I ended up doing is I have like these storage bins that I put all my loose nuts and bolts and spare parts in. And I simply said, nobody piles shit on Jeff's table because it's a mess. Nobody piles shit on Brendan or Elijah's tables because they have tools and parts everywhere. I keep my table clean because I like a nice, clean, organized workspace. And part of my workflow is cleaning and organizing. I'll be working on a robot, and like today, I was working on Hypershock. I took the weapon out of Hypershock, disassembled the weapon. Once the weapon was fully disassembled, I was like, all right, well, I had to use 10 different tools to take this apart. I know I'm not going to need my hammer or my punch or this wrench to put it back together. I'm going to put those away so they're not in my way. I'm going to take the broken nuts and bolts that I took out of this weapon, and I'm going to throw them in the trash. I'm going to take the broken parts, and I'm going to put them in this pile over here. And by the time I got the weapon fully out of the robot and was ready for lunch, my pit was nice and clean and organized, even though I had all the parts there. I even had new parts ready to go because I like keeping my workspace clean. And because my workspace is always clean, it's a clean, flat surface, everybody's got to pile stuff in my space. So I said that. I was like, my space is always clean, so everyone's got to pile shit in my area. I know what I'm going to do. And I took all my buckets of nuts and bolts and just dumped them all over my table. And for like a week and a half, I just had a mountain of junk on my table. And nobody used my table after that. Nobody used my pit after that. And then we had a meeting where we talked about like respecting people's areas and not putting shit where it doesn't go, including in my area. And I cleaned everything off. And it happened again. I came in yesterday and someone had left a milkshake in my pit. A freaking milkshake on my table. I was like, I don't know whose this is, but I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it over on that table over there. And if it starts to get smelly, it's not my problem. The problem, Clueless, that I have with our PTO is we don't get PTO. We do, but it is a shit amount of PTO. I love my job. I absolutely love my job. But I hate our PTO right now. So we're earning per hour worked. We earn 0.092 hours of PTO or something like that. It's the absolute minimum amount of PTO that you can get per hour worked per the state, per labor laws in the state of Nevada. It works out that every month I'm getting getting a little over 2.5 hours of PTO every month added to my PTO balance. It takes, in order to get 40 hours of PTO, to take a week off, it's going to take 14.5 months. Okay, a year and 3.5 months, or a year and 2.5 months. That's not too bad. Except for the PTO resets every 12 months. So I will never have a full 40 hours of PTO. Because our current PTO system just doesn't give us enough. And we're limited to 40 hours. So even if they were to boost how much we were earning, we'd only get up to 1 week off. And what's worse is like, they only just gave it to us back in May after I've worked for this company for 2 years. And I've worked for this company for 2 years. They gave me 6 hours of PTO when they finally introduced the PTO system. Actually, no, they gave me 10 hours. It was 6 hours initially, and then that paycheck hit, and they were able to add another 2 hours or another 4 hours. So I had 10 and a half hours of PTO. Yeah, it's shitty, and I've complained about it multiple times, but I don't know what else to do. What is nice is I can just not go into work. Like I tend to take, like you guys have noticed, sometimes I will stream Monday afternoons. That's because I'll just wake up Monday morning and be like, yeah, I just want to stay home today. I just want to stay home. And I'll text everyone like, I'm staying home today. There's no show today. I can get all my robots fixed tomorrow. I don't get paid for it, but what I tend to do is I tend to look at my pay schedule, like I tend to look at the week and I do the math and figure out how many hours I need. I need at minimum 80 hours. I need at minimum 72 hours of a pay period to be able to pay all my bills. So I'll look at the pay period. I'll look at the month and be like, all right, I can take this Monday off and this Monday off and still get 70 80 hours of PTO, or of not PTO, 70 80 hours of work in and get that time paid, or get paid for that. I also, what I'll do is I'll work like a half hour of overtime, but I won't clock that as a half hour of overtime, and I'll do that like 2 or 3 days in a row. So now I've got like 2.5 3 hours of overtime that'll just tack on to one of those days that I like left early. So it's like last Tuesday I left an hour early, but I had an hour of overtime that I'd saved up that I was like, I'm just gonna move it over there to cover that. Also, like I have a weird problem. I have a really weird problem right now. There's Clueless Puppy Vibes, who's in chat, who is one of my friends from another Discord. And there's another person who I play VR chat with named Puppy. And I'm just like, man, I gotta be careful saying Puppy here, because it's like, they're two different people. In fact, the puppy that I play VR chat with, you can't see this, is online right now, but they're in a private instance. And I've also set myself to do not disturb, so none of my friends will join. I'm still not ready to do a VR chat stream with other people in the lobby, because you gotta vet people and you gotta let people know, like, hey, I'm streaming. I also don't know exactly how I would do that with a fixed camera like that. There can only be one puppy. Well, you have to hop on VR chat, you have to talk to her, and you have to fight to the death. I will pop some popcorn and sit in the corner. Yes, but I'm reading your username. You're fine by going by Raylan too. Yes, but I'm reading your Twitch username, which is Clueless Puppy Vibes. So I'm just gonna call you Clueless. But I'll try to remember Raylan. See, I did the really smart thing. All my names are the same. Yeah, you weren't here last week, Raylan, when I was talking about this avatar. It's a pre-made, but it's one that has a lot of customizable options, and I've even done some texture work. It's kind of hard to see in this lighting of this place. But this tattoo right here that this avatar has, I actually have in that actual spot. I've added these little ear tags. These little ear tags. And they're kind of like my mood indicator. So I have like a green one, a yellow one, and a red one. And then you can't see it, but I have one hanging from my belt loop as well. And then I added one of my work shirts in. It even says staff on the back. So I keep meaning to sit down and learn Blender and make like some of my own outfits for this avatar. I just haven't gotten to it yet. Yeah, I like the details too. One of the things I have, and this is if you ever hop into VR chat and we ever actually play together, I have on my belt, I have a little tag that hangs down there, and it is my, what did I call it? What did I call it the other day? It's like my history tag. So I have different events that I've attended. So like, I work at BattleBots. I've got the BattleBots logo on it. I did the Distant Worlds 2 expedition a couple years ago. I've got the Distant Worlds 2 expedition logo on there. I haven't uploaded it yet, but I have another version that has one of the trophies that I won that I can't talk about yet. Or not trophies, but one of the events I went to I can't talk about yet. And then I also have like the jackpot logo on there. And what's nice is like this avatar came with these glasses, and I'm like, oh, I wear glasses, and it has glasses. It also has this hoodie, which I changed the colors to match the actual NHRL hoodie that I have. So it's got the NHRL logo on the front and the NHRL logo on the back. The only problem is the shirts all clip through the hoodie. So I have to, in order to put the hoodie on, I have to take the shirt off to put the hoodie on. I really like how the physics work on these little clips here too. Like it, I like the physics of that. And the ears. Whee! Eventually, at some point, I would like to get full body tracking, and then if I do that, I'll probably stand somewhere else where you can actually see my like leg motions and stuff. One of the things that I've been playing a lot of VRChat, and I've actually been really enjoying it because, as I said last week, it's so much cheaper to play VRChat and be social and drink a beer than it is to go to the bar. But I've been playing so much VRChat, I've started learning like to emote more with my hands, and then even like somebody will come up and say something to me, and I'm not quite sure what they mean by it. And this avatar doesn't have eye tracking, so the eyes are just kind of like randomly going wherever, which kind of sometimes is bothersome because I want my eyes to always be looking forward. But I'll just look at the person and just like they'll say something, and I'll just go, "What? Huh?" It's like a dog. Like a dog will be looking at something and it'll like tilt its head to one side. It's like, "Oh, buddy, turning your head 45 degrees to the side somehow make it make more sense." I'm like, "Yes, it does actually." But it's a clear indicator of like, "What? Huh? What?" Which is even funnier because one of my favorite book series is set in space, and everyone has spacesuits on a lot of the times, and spacesuits are big and bulky, so you can't really like, see when you shrug or nod your head because it's a big bulky spacesuit. So the people who tend to have spacesuits on most, belters, all learn to like do things with their hands. So like they'll shrug with their hands, like, or they'll even nod like this to indicate yes. And I've been doing like a lot of that. Like I'll shrug with my hands. I'll be like, "Yep, yep, Also, last week I talked about, because in November I'll probably have a week off in November because of F1. Not the movie, the actual car race. Yay! Fuck you, F1. But I talked about potentially doing like a 12 or even 24-hour live stream in VRChat. And one of the things I thought about was like, well, how would I handle like my power? One of the things I would want to do, like I'm corded. I have a corded cable and I'm plugged into a wall outlet right now to power my headset. But I do have a battery bank that I can put in my back pocket, plug my headset into that, and run that for a few hours. So Saturday I did a test to see how long I could actually do that. And I plugged it all in, got it all running, and I just sat in VRChat for 13 hours. I played VRChat for 13 hours on Saturday. My face hurt. We got an ad. I will finish this story after the ad. Well, that starts in 20 seconds, but friendship drive charging. If you're watching and you like this sort of content, you just want to hang out, whatever. I do these sort of streams every week. I'm a variety streamer. I play video games, do CAD stuff. Consider dropping a like and a follow. Dropping a follow. But ad's starting here, so we'll wait for the ad to finish because I know not everyone is a subscriber to my Twitch channel, and we'll just kind of hang out here. While I was doing that, I'm gonna like just quickly run over some other stuff. For those who are subscribers, thank you. Thank you for subscribing and supporting my channel. I don't have enough yet to make it really matter. Like, it's not like, oh, the money's rolling in. But it does add up, and eventually they do pay me out. And to the non-subscribers who are currently stuck in ads, I also thank you guys for sticking around for those ads, because the more people I have watching those ads, I do get a little revenue from that, so. I know they can't hear me say this, but this is for the VOD watching this on YouTube later, which I do send these to YouTube, which I'm going to talk about that in a minute. If you're watching this on YouTube, consider liking and subscribing and checking the link in the description below to my Twitch channel and my Discord. Come hang out. I'm trying to build up a little bit of a community where we can actually hang out and chill and maybe have more people in these sorts of streams. And I don't remember where I was going with that. I think the ad break is still going, right? Yeah. Streamlabs isn't showing me the ad timer, but Twitch is. So I've got to put the Twitch feed up over there so I can also see, because like Streamlabs warned me that there was an ad coming up, but it's not telling me that the ad is playing. But Twitch is saying that the ad ends in 30 seconds, so. Yeah, again, if you're watching the video on YouTube after the fact of this stream, link in the description to where I actually do these streams every Tuesday. I'm trying to figure out a schedule to add more days. Don't know about when I'm going to do more days. I'm also going to start trying to put out more content that is VR only focused on the channel, so yeah. Alright, I think the ad is done. I'm going to assume the ad is done because Twitch says the ad's done. Streamlabs isn't telling me jack shit. And, yeah. What was I saying? I was saying something before the ad started. Oh, I was talking about how I spent 13 hours in VR. So the battery bank lasted about 9.5 hours with it in my back pocket and like my super long cable all neatly tucked up behind, tucked up and stuck in my other back pocket, which actually wasn't even that like I didn't even notice it after like the first hour of having it there. I was like, oh yeah, it's just, I can sit down, I can move around without tripping over my cable. The only reason why I think it actually could last longer. I think it could last longer, and here's why. At some point I sat down and the USB cable came unplugged from the battery bank itself, right? And when it came unplugged from the battery bank itself, I didn't notice that until my headset warned me that its battery was low after about an hour and a half. I was like, oh, that's no good. Why is it? And I felt the battery bank. I'm like, oh, it's not plugged into the USB port on anywhere. Whew. So I plugged it back in, and it had to take the headset from like 20% or like 15% charge up to 80% charge while also running it. So that definitely shortened the overall runtime for that battery bank in the headset like that. However, I think if that didn't happen, if the headset was at 100% charge, which it normally is because I leave it plugged in, and the battery bank was at 100% charge, which I believe it was at the start of that test, I probably could have gotten an easy 9. I probably could have easily gotten a 10, 11, even 12 hours out of that single battery bank running my headset. Which means in November, if I do a 24-hour or 12-hour live stream, it would be... Oh, that's weird. That's really weird. I see Tim's message on Twitch. I see it in my chat box, but I don't see it on Streamlabs. Oh, now it popped up on Streamlabs. That is really weird. That's really weird. It popped up on the Twitch window over there. It popped up in the chat box there, but it didn't pop up there. Huh. That's a first. I wonder what's going on there. Anyways. That's me with a C-wrench in my back pocket. Done it so much at work, I don't even notice it anymore. It's the same thing with me in my wallet. Like, I'll put my wallet in my back pocket and I don't even notice it. And the battery bank is a little bit taller and a little bit thicker than my wallet, and I put it in the same pocket. So it just felt like I had my wallet in my back pocket. But I think come November, I could be able to do a like all day, like 12-hour live stream in VR chat with just that battery bank. And then if the battery bank does die, I mean, I can plug it into my wall, but like I could start out the full day and be like, hey guys, I'm just going to walk around my entire freaking apartment and do whatever. Now, obviously, if I were to do that live stream, there would be some rules on when and where I could take my headset off. Obviously, I'm not going to like leave my headset on when I have to go to the bathroom. And I actually do find it difficult to eat when I'm wearing my headset. And I think it's just because it sits on part of my cheeks in a weird way. Like, I think the way I have it sit isn't quite right for me, and it makes it difficult for me to eat. So like, oh, I'm gonna have a sandwich. I'm gonna take my headset off for the 10 minutes it's gonna take me to eat a sandwich. I'm gonna take the headset off for 5 minutes while I go use the restroom and wash my hands. But for the most part, I would be in VR because back during like the pandemic and like everyone was playing VR chat and getting into VR headsets. I watched a couple people who did like challenges like that. Like there was one guy who I don't know how the hell he afforded this, but he had like 6 different VR headsets and had like almost no subscribers on his channel. Wonder if you can recharge battery pack faster than headset battery dies, because if so, it could be endless battery power. No. So the battery in my headset is pretty old and doesn't really hold a charge for more than about an hour, especially if I'm playing, games like this. Like, it'll hold a charge all day if I unplug it. But if I start playing something, I've got about an hour, hour and a half on the battery before it's warning me that it's low. Maybe 2 hours. It really depends on the game. It really depends on a lot of factors. But the battery bank itself, because it's such a massive battery bank, I have to, like, once it was like it died on Saturday, I plugged it in Sunday morning when I woke up to charge it. I woke up at like 10 a.m. put it on the charger at about 10:30, 11. I came back from the pool party at 9:30 and it was still charging. It was only about 70% charged. So it takes a long time for that battery bank to recharge. I used to have two of them. And I lost one of them, and I know where it is. It's somewhere between Tehachapi and San Jose. Because when I went up to Robo Games, I had it velcroed to my backpack with a USB cable to my helmet to charge the speaker of my helmet. And at some point, it came unvelcroed and fell off. But what I'm saying is I can have that battery bank in my back pocket for the first few hours of the stream and be fine. And it's like, oh, the battery bank is low. There's my kitten now, once again, in my play space. He's just all cuddly, like, oh, woe is me. Once the battery bank is low, I just check it every couple hours. Once it's low, I'm like, okay, cool. 5-minute break, guys. Put the battery bank on the charger, plug my headset into my wall outlet. I'm fine. I also have tested, inadvertently, I tested sleeping in my headset, which I always thought would be really uncomfortable and like really awkward. But when you're like 13 hours into playing VR chat and you're just laying on the couch and you got a nice warm blanket and you're watching, chill ass YouTube videos with your friends, not that hard to fall asleep. Granted, it wasn't the best sleep because I was on my couch, which my couch is fairly comfortable, and my headset's fairly comfortable. And the position I was laying in, because I have a solid strap around the sides, it actually like lifted the headset up off of my face just enough to take the pressure off. So I didn't even really notice I had the headset on. Yeah, older battery. Yeah. I wonder if I could get a replacement. I don't think you can. It'd be cool to get a replacement battery for the headset. Because I remember when I first had it, I could play VR chat standalone, or even, like, I could do anything for about 4 or 5 hours. Or, I mean, it was like, maybe it was 3 or 4 hours, something like that. On the internal battery that the Quest has. And now it's like, I have the battery. And it is currently sitting at, it's plugged in, but it's sitting at, its charge tends to stop at about 70. Oh, great. All right, we're still going. We're still going. I had to put the headset to sleep and wake it back up. It tends to sit at about 80-85% charge, even though it's been plugged in all day. So, but when it's plugged in, it goes down like 1% every few hours. Yeah, it would probably cost close to the cost of a new headset. Which, again, when we went to finals, I had a new headset in my hand. I was ready to go. I was at Micro Center. I was ready to buy a new VR headset. And then I ended up buying a new joystick instead. It is weird that, like... It's weird that, like, my Streamlabs I'm seeing in real time me move. I have another window floating in world right here, which is Twitch, which is about 10-second delay on the video for me to see my own video. However, chat on Twitch seems to be going at real time, and chat in Streamlabs seems to be on a 10-second delay. What the fuck? Shutter. Not a place to sleep. Again, my kitten is in my play space at my floor, right where I'm trying to like play. And that's the thing he's been doing recently, is he'll just lay on the floor right in the middle of my play space, so I'm tripping over him. And I'm like, buddy, you know better. You have a nice big couch right there. I'm not even laying on it. You've got your cat tree over there. You're not even laying on it. I point at his cat tree and I can hear him clawing it. Oh! This world has grabbables and I just, like, grabbed a drink. I'm not actually drinking alcohol tonight. The title of the stream is VR, Bots, and Beer, and I'm not having a beer. I was going to, and I just didn't have the energy to go grab one out of the fridge. I think the next big expensive thing I'm going to buy for VR is I'm looking at the slime trackers. I might buy one of those sets in the next couple weeks, depending on my budget and everything. It's one of those things where I've been playing enough VR chat, and I even played like Onward. I played enough stuff, which of course VR chat and Onward, where it would make sense to have them, and I feel like it is. I'm finally at that point in VR chat and everything where it is an investment I'm willing to make. I didn't ever want to buy them. I always looked at them before, but they're expensive, and I couldn't justify the cost because like I play VR chat like once a month, and now it's like I play VR chat every fucking day. I play VR chat so much. I mean, I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun, and I am making sure to like limit myself and still get actual real socialization in. I'm a plant apparently. I go to work and socialize there, and I still like go out and do social events and things like that. VR chat is a temporary escape from the hellscape that is everything around us. I do know there's a company that makes like aftermarket headbands that have built-in batteries, but I kind of like the idea of just having the battery pack in my back pocket. That battery pack also that I'm using is only like a $40 pack, so if I really wanted to, I could go buy another one and it wouldn't be a problem anymore. I really don't have a need for a second one. I had two because it was part of my portable live streaming setup. One of them powered the encoder and the router, and then the other one powered the GoPro. That's why I had two, but I could never get the... I got my new phone, and I haven't been able to get the portable live streaming setup to be reliable like it used to be. And I've just had nothing but problems with it, and so I've just kind of like shelved it until I can figure out why I've got problems with it. I think for whatever reason this phone does not like my old phone was fantastic as a hotspot. This phone, it's not. It's just shit as a hotspot, and I don't know why. No, I can do that. At this point, too, like, if you guys have questions about building robots, about battle bots, about face-offs, about VR... What's my hand doing? I didn't put my one arm just like went way out there. I'm like, no, I put my hand here. Put them here. Put them in equal distances. I'm here. Let's see. And again, this stream's only going to be about 2 hours long. I want to do longer streams, but I also like... I am part of a VR chat group. I I will talk about the VR chat group another time, like the specifics about it, but it's an 18 plus group, and we do different game nights, and we normally don't have moderation on Monday. It's no moderation Monday, but the rest of the week we have games and stuff. And Tuesdays is one of my nights where when I'm done streaming, I usually jump in because I'm a staff member there. And Cheddar, I'm going to say not nice things about you. I jump into those instances that they have, their games, and kind of do my moderation duties there. So it's why I don't like running too late. What time is it now? It is. I can just look up 7. It's almost 8 o'clock. I have a thing which you guys can't see. It's called Magic Chat Box. It's an add-on for VR chat. It's free. And all it does is it lets you put a little box that floats above your head that'll tell you what time it is tell everyone around you what time it is for you. It'll tell them any statuses you want to put in there, and you can have it cycle through them. And it will tell you can have it tell them what media you're listening to. So if I'm listening to music or podcasts or watching YouTube, it'll pop up right there and floats above my head. It's always there, including for me, which is nice because I'll be like, man, what time is it? 7:57. Now, I can hit the menu button and bring up a little menu that floats in front of my hand, which actually, let's see if I can do this. This menu right here, which is pretty convenient menu, and it has a timer up here, but you can change what that is, and I currently have it set to count. Where is it? Oh, it's currently set to VR chat session time. So that's how I know how long I've been in VR, is by this number up here. But I can change it to any other thing I want it to be. And I like having it as how long have I been in VR chat, because then I can be sitting there and someone will invite me to something and I'll look and go, oh fuck, it's been 5 hours I've been in VR chat. I should probably take a break. That was me on Saturday. I was literally laying on the couch and I was like, man, let me change a setting real quick. And I pulled up the menu to look at the settings, and it said 13 hours. I'm like, oh. And then I fell asleep shortly after that. So I actually spent more than 13 hours in VR chat. I just was asleep for the last 2. Because at some point my headset did go into sleep mode. I think it's because I hadn't moved in a long enough time. It figured you must have set your headset down and forgot about it and shut everything off on me, which is nice. Is nice. That it's nice that it did that. But when the stream's over, I will still be on VR chat. So if you want to add me, you can find me under my normal username, which is just KAZICK. And I will be in an 18 plus age verified instance. So probably playing. Let's see. Oh, that's not gonna work. I will probably be playing Prison Escape because I like playing Prison Escape. Although they don't have a Prison Escape instance up, so I'll probably put that up after the stream. If somebody else doesn't do it, beat me to it. I like how every time I upload these videos to YouTube, it's like, you've got copyright claims on your music, but the author says it's okay. It's like, I'm using copyright-free music, so it shouldn't, whatever. It shouldn't be a problem, but whatever. It's funny, it's like, I play this, I found it's like, Stream Safe Synthwave, which I like Synthwave, it's kind of good. It's got a nice little good vibe to it. But the last couple of weeks, I've just been listening to emo sad boy music, because just my emotional state. Oops, I didn't want to do that. It's just absolutely tanked, and so I'm just sad, 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 sad. And And I've had some stuff kind of like, I've had some stuff just everywhere going on in my social sphere of friends and internet friends that has not been helping. And what was funny is like, I went to Destruction Under the Stars last weekend. Not last weekend, 2 weekends ago. At this point now, 2 weeks ago. And like normally I would get in the car and I'm really social and I talk to everyone in the car. I got in the car, I put my earbuds in and was just zoned out for the entire drive there, and then the entire drive back I was just completely zoned out. What I should do is like right here have like Spotify, like a little box that just says whatever track is being played on Spotify. I want to see if I can do that. I think I can. I've got my follower goal right here, which we're getting close to hitting 430, and I got my subscriber goal, which we're working on. I am also putting these on my YouTube channel, which I was going to talk about this earlier and I didn't. My main YouTube channel with like all 800 and some odd subscribers is just a fucking mess of videos, and I was sitting there thinking about it the other day. I'm like, you know, I'm going to be doing a lot more. I want to do a lot more VR content. I want to be more focused. And when I say VR content, not just VR chat, I'm going to play other VR stuff as well. And I even talked about this on that channel. But I decided to start a VR specific channel for myself. So I've got my regular channel, which is going to be all my like regular video game stuff. Whoops. It's going to be all my regular video game stuff and whatever other content I want to make. But then I have Kaz VR channel, which is all of my VR content. So when I play VR chat, when I play VR chat or Elite Dangerous in VR or Truck Sim in VR, that sort of content will go there. I might also, because I can do it with this avatar, turn it into a VTuber, and that'll be like that. It'll just be to be consistent on that channel. I will always be in some form of this. If I do make a VTube, if I do stuff where I have my face cam on, it'll be VTube stuff over there. The goal of that channel is not necessarily to try and become like the next big name in VR. That's not at all my goal. My goal is small, and it is just to be a small channel that is focused. You know, we're doing VR content, and anything on this channel is all VR related. It may be experimental stuff. It may be, you know, just sitting like this. It may be silly videos that I actually sit down and take the time to edit. I don't know. But it's all going to be VR, and it's going to allow that channel to be focused on VR content and be a coherent. Well, Rylan, I have one. I made one. I don't have the link right now, but it's let's see. I can pull it up. It's Kaz VR. I want to watch that video later. That's a 22-minute video. I'm not going to watch it right now. I'm trying to navigate YouTube. This is news. What is news, Raylan? Why can't I? Maybe I gotta hit that. Yeah, if you just search Kaz, K-A-Z, space VR, it'll take you, it should take you to my YouTube channel. I'll post a link in the Discord later when I'm done. I can't get it to copy and paste the text. But that's where the videos from, that's where these streams will go afterwards. They'll go to there. And then, again, like I said, I'll probably do, like, whatever. Like, I talk about one of the things projects I want to do in VR chat is I want to do, like, an interview series where I just sit down and have a beer with one of my friends and we just shoot the shit for 20 minutes, right? Just talk about whatever. And then, like, that becomes a video. It's like, oh, I'm going to talk to one of my VR chat friends. You know, oh, I'm going to bring, let's see, who's on? You know, one of them is Chonkiest Honky. Silliest name. He's one of them. But he's a really cool dude. I talk to him all the time on Discord. I hang out with him sometimes in VR chat. We're both in the same VR chat group together. I think it'd be cool to be like, just him and I sitting down in front of the camera for 20 minutes, drinking a beer back and forth, and just shooting the shit, right? Why does he play VR? What's his favorite avatar? What's his favorite world? What's his favorite thing to do in VR chat? What, you know, questions like that. Questions that I also want to, like, have you guys submit to me. Then I can make like a 10-15 minute video about that myself. Like, why do you do this? Why do you do that? What's this about? Whatever. Because I want to experiment and learn content creation. That's one of the hardest things that I've had to do, or one of the hardest things for me to do is come up with ideas and then actually sit down and like execute them. I can talk all day long, I can stream all day long, but if I record something and sit down and try and edit it, I want to shoot myself. I hate video editing, but I'm going to just like bite my thumbs off here. Not bite my thumb. Well, I bite my thumb at you, sir. It's old Shakespeare for you. Get all Shakespearean. But I want to, you know, edit and make content. For a VR focused channel. My previous YouTube channel, the one I still run, I'm gonna still put stuff up there. There's no schedule and mayhem over there. It started out with like model train videos because that's what I was doing at the time when I started it. It was all model railroading. So a lot of people who are following and subscribed to that channel are there for the model train videos. Well, I haven't done a model train video in like 10 years. Oh, the VTuber channel is news to you. Okay. Again, I don't know why chat isn't updating in real time on there. I haven't set up the VTuber model of this avatar yet, but I have to learn how to do that. I haven't taken the time to learn to do that yet. But it was a lot of like my old YouTube channel was a lot of model routing videos, and then I haven't done anything model routing really in 10 years. So then there was like a bunch of like train sim videos, and then it turned into all my Elite Dangerous videos, and then it just kind of turned into this hodgepodge mix of stuff. So it's like there's people who subscribe to my channel to watch model train videos, and they're getting fed VR chat videos. That's just not right for them. That's not the content they want to watch. But if I make a channel that is specifically focused on VR content, be it VR chat, flight simulator, train simulator, you know, anything that I can play in VR and have a good old time like this with, I can do a focused channel on it. And then you're going there for that content. And then maybe I can wrangle my other channel into something in the future. I've been trying to organize and wrangle and get that channel focused for years and have never been able to do it. And the only thing I thought of that would work is just starting a second channel. Technically a third channel, but starting a second channel. I somehow have a third YouTube channel, and it was made when where I have 3 YouTube channels. I have my main channel, I have one that I never use, and then I have my new one, Kaz VR. And what ended up happening is because I have two Gmail accounts. I have a personal one, and then I have like my professional one. And when Gmail and like Google Plus and everything like all did that weird merger thing, and you could link accounts, my main YouTube account, which was linked to my main YouTube, my main personal Gmail, that one stayed there. My professional email address got turned into a YouTube channel for some reason. So it has its own YouTube channel. I've never used it. It has its own YouTube channel, and the worst part is periodically, because I log into YouTube on my phone, it will switch me to that channel, and I'll be like, these aren't my normal recommended videos. What the hell? Why are you showing me politics and news, world news? That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to watch science videos. I'm here to watch people blowing stuff up in their backyard. I'm here to watch people making things. And then I look, and it's like, oh, because I'm on the wrong channel. I gotta switch accounts. I can hear the music, and it's got a nice little beat. Now, the Twitch channel, this Twitch channel here, it's still going to be the variety streamer content that I've been doing all the time, where you're going to see me playing different video games, you're going to see me working on projects, you're going to see me doing VR chat. It's going to be a lot of everything. Although you may see a transition from me using my face cam to actually using a VTuber model. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about doing the VTuber model. Part of me wants to do it just so that way I have when I do put a video out, when I do put these onto YouTube, they will be a consistent look to them. You'll always see this one character, and you won't see like this character and then normal me, and then this character and then normal me. But at the same time, if I'm not playing VR, if like I decide to do a Run 8 live stream, that's going to go on my old channel. That's not going to go on the VR channel. So if it's not going on the VR channel, do I do VTube in that scenario, or do I do my regular face? Yeah, that's something I want to play around with and learn a little bit with. Cheddar is now playing with one of his toys. I can hear him rolling a ball around in the kitchen. Oh, I'm sitting there thinking I started earlier. I'm like, I want to be done by 8:30 because that's a 2-hour stream. No, that's going to be an hour and a half stream. So I started at 6:30. 6:30, 7:30 is 1 hour. 7:30 to 8:30 would be, yeah. Oh, because it's 8:14. My math is wrong. I'm going to wait until the session timer up there says 2 hours. So this will be a 2-hour stream. I want to keep like the Tuesday streams to a minimum. If I do another day of the week, they'll be longer. I keep thinking of like adding Sunday in, because Saturdays usually like I go to the RC car track, or I go do other activities or hobbies or whatever. And Sunday's my normal, like, I'm just going to sit at home and not do anything day. So I'm thinking of potentially doing like a Sunday afternoon stream where it's more relaxed, it's a little bit longer. But it's like Sunday's my relaxed day where I don't do anything. It's my day. It's my day off from responsibilities. So I try not to schedule anything on Sundays. So maybe Saturday evenings, but Saturday evenings I hop onto VR Chat, or I hop into Elite Dangerous or Star Citizen, and I drink beer until I can't walk straight. It's usually I hop onto VR Chat and I drink a bunch of beers and then pass out on the floor. I pass out on my bed, but you know what I mean. And again, one of the nice things about playing VR Chat is I can drink, and my bedroom is right over there. Yeah. I put up I made the VTuber channel, the VR channel. I'm not calling it VTube channel. It's a VR channel. I made it Monday, I think. I made it this week. I haven't really done any. I've got 2 videos up on it right now. I got 2 videos up on it right now. One is last week's stream, so if you guys want to watch back me talking about building robots and like doing the overview and doing what I called my weatherman thing, where I stood here and pointed at the model of my robot in CAD. Although the camera wasn't moving like that because I had turned off tracking on the camera. You can watch that, and then I have like a 10-15 minute video, 8-9 minute whatever video, kind of explaining the short version of everything I just said about my wanting to have a coherent channel and what the channel is going to be about. And then I'll probably, I don't know, I gotta come up with an upload schedule for that channel. I actually want to come up with an upload schedule and stick to it. I'll probably do some vlogging where I just sit at like this bar or somewhere else with different lighting and just do like a 10-15 minute like story time where I just talk about like some aspect of my life or something. Or, well, why did it jump? Oh, I just hit the A button, that's why. Where I talk about something interesting. You know, maybe when the face-off fights come out, I'll do like a recap video there where I have like the video playing in the background and I just sit here and talk about that weekend. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. Maybe I will do that. Maybe that's what I'll do. Because I was at a lot of the face-off fights. Maybe that's what I'll do. Is I'll do a video and see what kind of traction it gets, where I sit there with the video playing in the background. Obviously, like the HUD, like this bar up here and this down here, and chat over here would be disabled, and the camera would be like there, and I'm basically weathermanning it, going, "You see this? This was me. I made sure that they had that part. I did the safety in that." We're just kind of talk about my experience doing the BattleBots Structathon face-offs as both a competitor, an employee, and the person being as a fan, and the person doing all the safety. Not all the safety, but doing a big part of the safety. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe that's my first little mini series that I do on my channel. If you're watching, well, yeah, maybe that's my first. Yeah, that's a potential idea right there. That's a potential idea right there. Oh, that picture again. If you've seen BattleBots Destructathon, you know where that line is from. You know where the line is from. I'm just like, all right. I'm now thinking like, how would I do that? How would I guess I could go to like one of the worlds that has video screens but has like a decent lighting, and then like put it up on the background, have the audio like way down. I wonder how that would handle, like how that would work copyright wise, because it's like it's BattleBots video, but I'm an BattleBots employee doing a review of the video, so it's for review purposes only. Who knows? I'm going to go ahead and we got about 15 minutes left of the stream. I'm just going to go ahead and real quickly run a 3-minute ad, so that way we don't have one at the end of, like, at the last like minute of the stream. So I'm just going to run a quick ad. If you're a subscriber, you won't see the ads. If you're a follower or just a casual viewer, thank you for sitting through the ads. They suck, I know, ads suck. But you watch it, and I get a couple cents, and eventually I get paid out. So, you know, is what is, Sessa. I was watching one Twitch streamer, and she had her ads set to every 5 minutes, a 2-minute ad would play. Every 5 minutes, a 2-minute ad would play. And that was frustrating. Because I want to watch the content, but ad. I want to watch content, ad. I want to watch content, ad. And it was just, it also was timed to the perfect point where it's like, when something was happening, there was an ad. And when the ad was done, everything that had happened during that ad had finished and resolved itself. So you missed half the stream. And it was every 5 minutes. And I'm like, I'm not subscribing to your channel to see an ad to not see these ads every 5 minutes. I'm just not going to watch. Yeah, I have a 3-minute ad that plays once every hour. It's 3 minutes, it sucks, but at least as a streamer, I recognize that it sucks. I recognize the ads are there, and when the ad starts, I don't really talk that much. I just kind of sit back and relax. And the only reason I'm talking now is because I know there's a couple subscribers in chat who are watching and can see this. And I'm going to go over this rant again when the ad is done in a minute. I kind of use these ad breaks when only subscribers can see it as a practice run for what I'm going to say next. I'm peeling back the veil of the thought processy. All right, I think that ad is done. So as I was saying during the ad to the subscribers, and I want to repeat this, so if you're a subscriber and you already heard this, I apologize for nothing. You knew I was going to repeat it. I even said it in the ad break that I was going to repeat it. I was watching a streamer for a while, and she had her ads set to every 5-10 minutes. And it was a 1.5-minute, 2-minute long ad every 5 or 10 minutes. And so you'd be watching content, blah, 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 ad. And then it would come back, blah, 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 ad, blah, 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 ad, blah, 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 ad. The problem is she didn't acknowledge that there was that many ads that often or that frequently. And so what would happen is something would be happening in-game that she's playing. You would get an ad. The thing would keep happening. And by the time the ad was done, you missed the resolution of what was happening. And I get it. She was doing it to try and push people to be subscribers. But like having that frequent of ads made me not want to subscribe to her channel. It made me want to not follow her channel. And so I followed for a couple months, and then I was like, no, I'm tired of the way you do your ads and you don't acknowledge them. Unfollow. Meanwhile, here I acknowledge that I have ads. I can see that they're about to pop up, and so when they do pop up, I sit there and say, "Hey, I'll finish this story after the ad. I'll finish doing this thing after the ad, if I can help it at least." I can't always help it. I do apologize for that, but I try. So that way, the subscribers can have a little one-on-one conversation with me if they want to during the ad break. But the regular viewers, you don't really miss anything. But if you do subscribe, it does support me. You don't get to see the annoying ads. And during those ad breaks, get a little one-on-one chat with me. You know, I pay attention to chat, and if I see a subscriber pop up, I go, that person's paying to be here. And we're in an ad break. I'm going to answer that. Although my chat normally isn't as very active, so it's easy for me to keep up with chat. But I would love to have like the viewer count, you know, in the double digits at least, and then have like a ton of, you know, a ton of chat. I want to have. I try to interact with my community. I'm doing this motion because for me, my chat box and all of you are right there. You're right there. I'm just gently patting you on the head now because you are right there. You're right there. You're on the other side of this bar. I'm the bartender. You're at the bar with me. I really wish I had face tracking so you could see that big stupid smile I got on my face. But anyways, I think this is a pretty decent stream. You know, we had some people come in. I actually had a decent viewer count for a short while. Can I get the thumb to come down? No, I had 4 people in stream. I had four at the highest. Yay. Now, last week I had 6. I had 6 at one point last week. And actually, I think I had 5. I think I had 5 today. Hopefully, I can get on a better stream schedule. I've been trying to avoid streaming on Mondays because I know that's when Pong streams. And I like watching his streams. I usually put them on in the background while I'm doing other stuff. But like Monday and Tuesdays are the easiest day for me to stream. So maybe Mondays and Tuesdays become stream days. I don't know. Definitely Tuesdays. I will always strive to do a Tuesday stream. But yeah. If you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, thank you for sticking around, hanging out, watching. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that stuff. This is my new channel that's specifically for VR content. It will be heavily focused on VR chat because that is a big thing that I play, but you will see stuff like Elite Dangerous, DCS, and any other VR games that I play, or modded VR games that I play. There's one game that I actually want to do a little playthrough in, and I just downloaded the update for it. But I wanted to do it months ago when the Kickstarter started for it as a promotional thing for it. Like, I'm a fan. I like this idea. Go to the Kickstarter. I think the Kickstarter's ended, but I still want to do a video playthrough of it because I think it's kind of cool. It has been one of my favorite, like, not driving or flying VR experiences that I've had in a while. I'm not going to spoil what it is, but I will probably make that playthrough this week and put it out. Maybe I might also do the BattleBots, like, inside the box. the builder, the dumbass builder's the dumbass builder's perspective video series. You know, those are some ideas I'm kicking around. So if that sounds interesting to you, like, subscribe. If you're on Twitch, if you want to come to my Twitch, check the link in the description below. Follow me on Twitch. I live in the West Coast, so you will see me on around 6:30 Pacific to 8:30 Pacific time on Tuesdays, with potential schedule change or potential additional days. I might also start early on Tuesdays if I don't go into work or if I come home early. So, yeah. Please follow, like, subscribe, all that good shenaniganery. Let's see. Oh, my viewer count just shot up again. Why do my viewer count shot up? I will never, ever put myself in a position where I am paying for viewers because that is the just worst. The other thing I will never do, the one thing I will never do, and this is something I've seen people do, and it is, God, somebody did it, and not only did I leave their Twitch channel, I blocked them. But you can usually see who is in chat, so I can look and see, oh, Clueless is still here, Streamlabs is here, and all that. I will never call out somebody who isn't being active in chat. I will call you out in a friendly, like, I will not call you out, acknowledge you. So if you say something in chat, yeah, I'm going to read your name and read your message and answer your question or interact with you. But if you're just lurking, I'm not going to be like, hey, Bob122359777, why aren't you talking? I'm not going to do that. That's an absolute no. And, like, I had somebody do that. I jumped into their chat. They saw my name. Fuck you, Bob. Yeah, fuck you, Bob, for not following, not subscribing with your Amazon Prime. What are you even doing here, Bob? But, like, somebody did that, and I was like, block and leave. Like, ugh. Like, I've only blocked, like, 4 Twitch channels. And, like, 3 of them were people who came to my stream and were harassing me. This was years ago. Oh, yeah. LOL from 4 is a lot. You should see how many people I have blocked on Reddit, and you should see... how many people... Let's see. I have 4 people blocked on VRChat. But I think, again, those were like 4 trolls that were just in with, like, horrific avatars. And that's part of the reason, too, why if you ever see me streaming VRChat, it's 99% going to just be me, or maybe a couple of my friends, but it'll always be in a, like, invite-only instance, because I want to make sure that my chat, like, I'll swear. I don't give a fuck if I swear. I don't give a fuck if you guys swear in chat. We're all adults here. I only ever interact with 18 plus people, right? I think I had one person for a while who, like, added me on VRChat when I first got back into it. And, like, we were hanging out in one world, and he's like, oh, here, let me add you so we can play again. And he added me, and, like, the next day I looked and saw he was, like, 16. I was like, ooh, buddy, I had fun playing zombie game with you, but you're 16. You can't drink beer. Unfriend. But yeah, I only ever go into 18 plus instances. I don't care if people swear, but I also don't want people using inappropriate slurs. And there are people who do have inappropriate avatars. I've seen people with just massive dicks and huge ass tits just out. And it's like, I don't want to stream that. So when I do these streams, if I have other people come in, they're going to be vetted. They're going to have a list of what they can and can't do. Like, hey, I know who you are in other instances when we play Cards Against Humanity. You are horrible. I would call HR on you if we were playing this at work together. And it's fine when you're doing it with just us and me. But here, we're in my stream. Let's keep it PG. Let's keep it PG-13, okay? PG-13, you can drop 1 F-bomb per hour. But yeah, that's just me. That's me protecting myself and protecting you and protecting you, chat. You chat over there. But not you, Bob. Fuck you, Bob. I think Bob is going to be the new guy who would just say fuck you to randomly during a stream. Just, fuck you, Bob. Something breaks, that's Bob's fault. And what's going to happen is somebody's going to chomp in the stream and they're actually going to be named Bob. And they'll be like, whoa, what did I do? And it's like, you know what you did. Anywho, I'm Kaz. This has been a fun stream, just hanging out, chit-chatting. The title was slightly misleading because I didn't drink any beer. I will be back later. I will be back next week with the stream. I might do something this weekend, so keep your eyes peeled on my Discord. Even though I didn't post the stream on my Discord. Keep your eyes peeled on my channel and everything, and find Kaz VR, K-A-Z space VR on YouTube, where this video will go and future VR content made by me will be at. I will catch you all in the next one. Laters.